Hey everybody, how you doing? It's me again. And as you can tell from the title of this video, this has absolutely nothing to do with natural hair in any way, shape, or form. And to be honest with you, I have been debating with myself for a very long time whether or not I should share a deeper aspect of myself with people on YouTube. And the reason for that is, to be quite frank, I've noticed that the intellectual level of a lot of people on YouTube is not very high at all. When I made this channel initially, I had just retired from being a teacher. I was a school teacher, a history teacher, on the junior high and high school level. And for reasons that I won't go into, I decided to walk away from public education. However, I still had a desire in me to share with the world, to share with people, because for me, history is not about memorizing names and dates. That's meaningless. For me, history is something that's very real, very alive, and very dynamic, because it holds the keys, the powers, to help us live our lives, to be able to face different challenges and obstacles in life. It speaks directly to the universal human condition. And like I said, it helps us by giving us examples to navigate our lives, to inspire us, to keep us from making the same mistakes that other people have made. It's something that's very dynamic. And so, I came across this topic by accident, the ancient Egyptian race controversy. And I could see from the comments and related videos that when it came to this issue, there was a lot of historical inaccuracies. There were a lot of cross-cultural misunderstandings. And having grown up in the United States, I'm familiar with this society and the social issues that relate to that topic. I'm also very familiar with Egypt because I've been traveling there since I was a teenager on a regular basis for many years. And so I have familiarity not only with the pharaonic civilization, but with the modern culture and aspects of the modern culture and population as well. And so I made a very short video to speak to that issue of whether or not the ancient Egyptians were in fact native Africans. So I made a very short video, and I had intended to follow it up with, more in-depth information. But the amount of negative, hate-filled, disgusting garbage that I saw on that video, that one video, it disgusted me to the point where I disabled comments altogether for about 2 or 3 years. And I was extremely disappointed, extremely shocked, because I expected to see things from like neo-Nazis, and I don't pay them any attention. But seeing African Americans and Egyptians, in particular Coptic Christians, who are being subjected to extreme discrimination, these two people who have such an old history of knowing what it feels like to be victimized, ripping each other to shreds and using the most hateful, racist language. I couldn't make sense out of that, and I refused to let my videos be a platform for that kind of poison. So I walked away from the issue for about until my most recent trip to Egypt, which was in 2009. And the only reason why I picked the topic up again is because that's a long ass story. I ended up in Egypt in the summer when it's hot like Satan's nutsack with no goddamn good reason to be there. That's a long ass story behind that. But anyway, there I was, wasting my time and my money, and I figured, okay, well, what can I do to at least make this fiasco somewhat worthwhile to justify, my being there, making some kind of meaning. So I made that 6-part video series, plus the Afro wig, and, by that time I was already into the natural hair thing, and goddamn, man, big ass Afro wigs with braids down the back and finger coils. Of course, I had to take a video of that. Yeah, so because of that, I really shied away from really opening up and showing more of myself. Now, let me make something clear here, just so everyone knows where I'm coming from. I'm obviously a person of African descent, as you can tell. However, I do not identify myself as black. I do not check racial classification boxes on applications. I do not ascribe to the one-drop rule. But don't get the shit twisted. It doesn't mean in any way, shape, or form that I'm trying to distance myself from anyone or that I am ashamed of my ancestry and my heritage. Yes, I am a person of mixed ancestry. I am a person of European descent as well as African descent. However, it's the African elements of my culture and my African ancestry that I am more intimately attached to. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So don't get the shit twisted. I'm not looking down on anyone, and I'm not distancing myself from anyone. No, I am not African American. I am a Jamaican. I'm West Indian. Both of my parents are Jamaican, and I was raised in Jamaica for most of my for my entire childhood. And to be honest with you, when I came back here, I came back in the mid-70s. And it was a very, very hard transition for me because I did not relate to this society and this culture. Because I'm a person of African descent with an English last name, I'm automatically categorized in this society as being black. And because I'm being categorized as black, I am also categorized as being Afro-American. However, the fact of the matter is I am not African American. I'm coming from a different background, a different culture, and I could not understand this culture that I was shoved into. I didn't understand their way of life. Nothing. It was so totally alien to where I came from and how I was raised. And I remembered, watching comedians like Richard Pryor and hearing them talk about the police and police brutality and the Ku Klux Klan and all of this stuff. And I could not relate because nothing like that existed where I came from. There was no such thing as white supremacist terrorism in our society. If anything, it was reversed. Morant Bay Rebellion. Look it up. But that all changed when I graduated high school and I started going out into the general public, you know, New York City. And it was at that time that I began to experience firsthand, personally, police brutality. Now, y'all can see me, y'all can hear me. I am as far from a thug as you can get. There is nothing thuggish about me. I do not have a thuggish bone in my entire body. However, that didn't matter. It didn't matter how well dressed I was, how well spoken I was, how intelligent I was, how articulate I was, how mixed I was. That ain't mean shit. When they saw me, all they saw was a nigger. Period. And let's be very specific here. I'm not talking about every last single police officer. I'm talking about rogue police officers. I'm talking about the rogues. Okay? I have been verbally abused. I have been physically assaulted. I have been sexually fondled. I have been sexually propositioned by rogue police officers of the NYPD. I have been unnecessarily imprisoned, arrested, for absolutely no reason whatsoever. None. So, why do I care about this topic? Because it's not just an Afro-American topic. It's not just an Afro-American problem. This is an everybody problem, particularly people of color and particularly people who are of visible African ancestry. They don't care whether or not I'm Jamaican. I have friends who are Ethiopian, I have a friend half Ethiopian, half Iranian, Israeli Jewish. And they've experienced the same thing that I experienced. They don't care who's Latino, who's Dominican, who's Jamaican, who's African. In their eyes, we're all just different kinds of niggers. That's it. That's it. It's not just African Americans. My Ethiopian, half Persian, Israeli Jewish friend. Oh, where are you from? What did they call him? Sand nigger? Iranian nigger? Some shit like that. You know, I mean, for example, Amadou Diallo, okay? I think he was, where was he from? Nigeria or Ghana? Somewhere, I can't remember exactly where he's from. Amadou Diallo, but hey, just look it up. You can Google search Amadou Diallo. Shot that boy full of holes. Shot him up like a piece of Swiss cheese. Because he was reaching for his wallet going into the building where he lived. Which, by the way, just happens to be on the same street that I grew up on before I moved to Jamaica. Wheeler Avenue. Soundview, the Bronx. He was not a thug. He was not a criminal. He wasn't acting suspicious. They rolled up on him just because of the color of his skin. Nobody gave a fuck about where he was from. Okay? They just saw some black skin and it was open season. And if you are from New York City, you know, end of the month, it's open season on us. Whether you're black, whether you're West Indian, whether you're Puerto Rican, whether you're African, whether you're Mexican, no matter what, Dominican, doesn't matter. It's open season on us. End of the month. You know, you're on pins and needles. Because that's when the police have to make their quotas, and they are coming for us. You know this. If you've grown up in that environment for any length of time, you know this from personal experience. So when I see somebody like Colin Kaepernick taking a stand to speak truth to this situation, I have to support him 100%. Now, you may take issue, or people may take issue, with the Black Lives Organization. And to be honest, yeah, I've seen things, that have been done and said by individuals within that movement that I objected to, that I thought was in bad taste. But that does not negate the fact that the issue is a valid one. Doesn't negate from it. People are looking now at Colin Kaepernick and they are just blowing the shit all out of proportion and making it about everything that is irrelevant and has nothing to do with the issue. You have to understand that what we are seeing in the media this past year is nothing new. This is not an epidemic. This is something that has been going on for generations. And no one would listen or believe what we've been saying. But now, because of technology and the fact that everybody's got cell phones and everybody's got cameras on those cell phones, we can document it. And so this is what you're seeing now. All it's doing is shining light on something that has always been there. That's all. That's all. And it is time that this stops. So people are talking about, oh, Colin, he's disrespecting the flag. He's disrespecting veterans. He's unpatriotic. No, he's not. He is exercising his constitutional rights as an American citizen. It's his constitutional right, our constitutional right, because this is a democracy. Government for the people, of the people, by the people. And so if there is something in the society that is not right, that is rotten, that needs fixing, you don't sit on your ass and cover your eyes and pretend that it's not happening. You deal with it to make the society a better society, to make sure that it fulfills, it lives up to the standards of that national anthem, of our Constitution. All of the rights and the privileges that we now enjoy as American citizens came about not because the government got up on their ass or those big wigs got up on their ass and decided to be nice one day. It was because ordinary citizens, men, women, children, were willing to get up and go into the streets and get the shit beat out of them by police, to protest the injustices in this society, to make the society fulfill the standards of justice that it claims to be based on. And because those men and women shed their blood and gave their lives, we now can enjoy the privileges that we do have as they exist. We didn't get the vote by sitting on our asses and being nice and polite. Women didn't get the vote by being prim and proper. Factory workers didn't get the right to have safety regulations to protect themselves by going along and, okay. The Vietnam War, I'm old enough to remember that shit. I grew up during the Vietnam War. Okay? I remember seeing that shit on the news every fucking night. I grew up with that shit. I know it. That situation did not end because everybody was being nice. No. People got up off their asses and went to the streets and protested. And celebrities like Muhammad Ali and Urfa Kitt put their careers on the line to take a stand, to make America live up to its principles and be a better country. You don't criticize somebody for making protest. Protest is not pretty. It's not prim. It's not proper. That's not what protest is. Protest is about making a ruckus and forcing the people in power to listen. Doesn't matter whether it's the United States, whether it's South Africa, whether it's India under Gandhi and his movement, or France. Nothing for the common people has ever changed for the better without people agitating and making other people feel uncomfortable. So people feel uncomfortable because he refuses to stand for a song. Good. You need to feel uncomfortable. Because the bigger issue that we need to be asking is not whether or not we sing a nice song, but what happens in real life once you turn off that television, once you leave that stadium, and you go outside into the real world. Are the rights of the American citizens being upheld and protected? And unfortunately, the answer to that question is no. Now let's make this very clear. I love my country. I've been all over the world, but I always bring my ass right on back. Yes, there are things that I admire about other countries. There are things that are awesome in other countries that I wish we had in this society. But at the end of the day, there are still things that we have here that they don't have. And that's why people are still coming here. Even from countries that have a very high standard of living. But that does not mean that we turn a blind eye to the shortcomings in our society. We got a good thing here, but it can be even better. And that's why we need to protest. I'll say it again. This is a democracy. And the highest form of patriotism is to stand up and tell the truth and to hold the society responsible and let them know, hey, you know what? You can do better than this. We, as a people, as a nation, are better than this. Unarmed men, women, and children being gunned down by sociopaths. God damn it, we can do better than this. We can do better than this. And we deserve better than this. Because don't get the shit twisted. If they can treat human beings this way, what the fuck makes you think that one day that's not going to be visited right back on you? If they feel that they can do this to human beings and get away with it, it's only going to be a matter of time before they start doing it to everybody else, because they are psychopaths. They have a depraved indifference to human life. So yes, black lives do matter, because at the moment, black people are the ones who are catching it the most. So yes, they have every right in the world to stand up and say, hey, you know what? Our lives matter. They most certainly do. And I don't think anyone should criticize them or belittle them for it. But if you're so bent out of shape about Black Lives Matter and Colin Kaepernick executing his patriotism and his rights as an American citizen, now let me ask you a question. What's your solution? Do you have a solution? I'm all ears. And if you don't have a solution, and you don't feel like, well, this ain't got nothing to do with me, okay, you know what? Fine. That also is your constitutional right. But don't stand in the way of other people who are trying to make a difference. So, people are going to be out there, we're going to be out there, and we are going to be victorious. And when we do, you all will benefit from what we've worked hard for. Just like I, as a first-generation American, have benefited from what African Americans have struggled for so that I can have citizenship, okay? So, I'm not going to sit here, well, I'm Jamaican, I'm mixed, I don't have... No. Bullshit. Bullshit. Because unless they did what they did, I would not be here right now. I wouldn't have the right to be a citizen, to call myself an American citizen right now, if they hadn't given their lives. So if you are an immigrant or a person of immigrant descent in this country, you owe them a debt of gratitude. I don't give a fuck what problem you have. Yes, there is a very dysfunctional element within that community, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, the overwhelming majority of people, African American people, are not thugs. They are not psychopaths. They are not mentally disturbed. They are decent, hardworking, good people. And they deserve better, and we all deserve better. And I sure as goddamn hell deserve better. So that's where I stand on that issue. And if anybody don't like it, you know what you can do. If you don't like it, the fact that we are trying to make this a better country, then you know what? Leave. Go somewhere else then. Okay? We're going to stay right here because I'll be goddamn, too much blood has been shed on this soil to make this country what it is now. to just get up and leave all of this shit. I ain't fucking leaving all of this shit. No, hell no. Because too many African people have given their lives and their blood to make this country what it is. I ain't walking away from that shit. Okay? We deserve better. And we're going to get it. And we're going to make it. We're making it now. Although what they show you in the media doesn't support it, best believe we're not going anywhere. And we are going to be successful. As a matter of fact, no, we are successful. Because every day we wake up, we're still here and we're still alive. And you don't see us running around in the street, screaming and killing people and going crazy. Okay, now, yeah, there's some people who have snapped. But the fact that you don't see every black person or every person of African descent or every person of color running around there slitting people's throats speaks volumes to the strength that we have inside of us. And it speaks volumes to our integrity as a people. And I will not be ashamed. And I will not hold myself aloof from my African-American brothers and sisters. Yes, I am who I am. I have my culture. I love my culture. I have my own identity. I am never giving it up. But I am not going to throw them under the bus. Yes, there are some very annoying, aggravating, dysfunctional people in that community. There's people like that in every community. That does not change the fact that the overwhelming majority of the people in that community are decent, hardworking, good people who deserve better. And by extension, I deserve better too. Because like I said, at the end of the day, when I step out that door, nobody's asking me for my birth certificate or my credentials. They see an African American, a black guy, or some kind of Latino. We don't know what the fuck it is, but we just know it ain't white and we don't want to fuck with it. That's the way it is. But I will be goddamned if I let them dictate the way I live my life. And I'm not going to sink down to the level of their negative expectations. I'm not going to stop being who I am to fit their mold. They can kiss my ass. I am here and I'm here to stay, and we are all here to stay, and they're going to have to just fucking deal with it. This is our country too, and we have the right to live in it and not be molested and not be violated. That's all I got to say on that shit. Peace.